Oh yes, I'm Dr. Moreblessing Kunyangwe. And I'm 31 years old. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm happy to be part of this congregation. I recently relocated to Harare. I was based in Gweru. That's where I was. And I recently relocated here because we opened a branch here in Harare. My entrepreneurial journey started when I was at the age of 6, when I was helping my mom to sell fruits and vegetables by the roadside. That's when my journey started. So, due to financial challenges, my mom had to go to Botswana and work. You know what our moms used to do? They would go to South Africa, to go to Botswana and work there. So I was the big sister in the house. I was left there with my dad. And my dad was just a mere security guard. He was working at Fawcett. And during that time, I think he was earning around $20. And that couldn't sustain the family. Because of the entrepreneurial spirit that I had, when my mom went to Botswana, I didn't close that market, that musika. I had to wake up early in the morning, go to the market, order goods, and then come back, go to school. Around 4, after school, I would come and go by the roadside and start to sell fruits and vegetables. I became like a mom. My brothers, my father, they were all looking up to me because I was the one who was in business. I was getting millions of dollars. During that period, I became a millionaire at a young age. So they will all look up to me. I've got my brothers who are older than me, my young sister. I would want to make sure that they feed each and every day. They would ask me, today, what are we having today? Asking mwana ari primary school. And I would say, today, we are having matemba. Tichimixa, and then tomorrow we're going to have machunks. And then, even today, I don't like spinach because I used to eat spinach. My dad, I grow a spinach. So during that period, that's when I realized that I was a leader. But how did I become a leader? It was through serving others. I wanted to see my family feeding. I wanted to see the good out of my sister. I remember this other day, when I saw a second-hand tracksuit which was being sold at the marketplace, I had to buy that for my sister. I wanted it to be warm after school. It was just a pink tracksuit, I remember it. I wanted my sister to be warm after school, my little sister. That's how I became a leader, through servant leadership. So today, I'm going to take you through leading with servant leadership in our businesses. How do we lead? It's one of the leadership styles. And it is clearly shown in the Bible by Jesus Christ. Is it John 13? When we all expected that Jesus Christ, ndiye aiva mukuru, but taitarisira kuti Jesus Christ aive iye anogeswa tsoka nevadzidzi vake. But what happened? He was the one akaenda akanogesa tsoka. But he was a leader. So most of us in businesses, we want to be leaders. We have got the power. We want to accrue power. We want power. We want to be felt in business. But here today, I want us to talk. Let's try this leadership style that have worked in my life. I just want to give example of my own personal journey. The Kasvita say using this servant leadership. There are different leadership styles that you might use. But this is the one that I use. Maybe you can try it. Gona kukushandira. So after school, I was attached at a certain organization, which is a property development company. As you heard, when my profile was being read, I'm into land development. I didn't just wake up as a land developer, but I had to learn it from somewhere. The organization I was working for. I was an attaché when I was there. I was very close to the admin director. I would carry a handbag everywhere. just sit by her side when she's having meeting. Moreblessing, I want you to do this. I would be listening and learning from there. And then after graduating, I then had to say, no, I need to start my own business. This I can do. And then I partnered with a certain person. We then started our land development company. We started selling stands on behalf of others. The business grew, and we started developing our own stands. So there's this story. There are a lot of principles that are there in servant leadership. We talk of stewardship. We talk of one has to be a good listener. We talk of collaborations, and one has to build relationships. Mr. Rusike made a powerful presentation. He said it all. Because you said it all. You are a leader, but you are also concerned about the welfare of your employees. You are also concerned about the well-being of your employees, the education. Some of the organization, us as entrepreneurs, we see it as waste of money, training our employees, letting them go for trainings. No, but if that person gets trained, you will help you in building the organization. Empower them, and they'll help you build the organization. So in this business, there's this tender that we were bidding for when we started this land development company. So when we did bid, we lost during that period. After we lost, there was the other land developer who was chosen, who was not us. And I was very disappointed because I really wanted, it was a breakthrough for me. I was saying, if I could get 50% of this piece of land, I'm going to make money. But it didn't manage to get that piece of land. But you know what? Behind my back, there was this old man who was working for us. Just because I'm a leader who involves his or her employee in decision making. I say it all to my employees. This is the vision. This is where we want to go. These are the things that we want to do. I don't hide anything from them saying, no, we don't do that. I involve them in decision making. So after we lost, I then went straight home and then Tikaparadzana with the other team members. And there was this Sekuru, was working at the organization. We used to call him Sekuru Gudo. So ndia akasara. We lost. But no. And then the following day, he came to me. Ma'am, after Pai, when you left, when we lost Pai, I then went to the landowner. I talked to the landowner and I said, okay, we have lost. But you have got your 50% share that you have. Why don't we partner? Just give us the 50%. Are you going to be able to sell these tents? Just give us that 50% Yamasaranayo, and let's sell these tents for you. Tite. And then that old lady agreed because they were of the same ages. Right? The old lady was single. Like, you know, all that, but you and all that. And they said they agreed. And I was called early in the morning tomorrow. Ma'am, we need to sit down. And I was saying, that's Sekurugudo. But no, they just Sekurugudo, you know. Barukude, what does he want? And he said, come, ma'am, I have a due. Ma'am, I went there that day with the landowner. And we discussed that they are going to give us the 50%. You lie. So I said, yes. And then they said, let's go kumba kwavo. Takayenda. Takanodzikama. Takatonogara. Tinakushika kati chiri vakuru vako tikanogara. Takadzikama. And then for sure, they agreed. They signed that land for us. And we got the 50% at a lower price that we were going to service the stand for. This is all through including our employees in decision making. It doesn't necessarily mean that all the people, the managers, highest level, let's share the vision, even with the lower levels. I have this, as you heard from my profile, I run a funeral business as well. We started in the Midlands. We now have branches nationwide. So I'm not expected, people don't expect a leader to be talking to the morticians, to the guards, to all that. But there's this mortician whom I always talk to. If I want to get information about a new entrance and what's happening on the ground outside there, I get all that information from the morticians because Anofamba Netsoka is always in there. Last time he was telling me, Pani company, we are mem. yada ngatidai, so they are doing this, let's do this. Just a mere motivation. So as leaders, that's servant leadership. Let's include others. Let's include all the employees. Doesn't necessarily. I was happy Mr. Rusike was talking about one of his employees who came at a lower level and now she holds an administrative post. And empowering the employees, taking them to school is one of the most important things. If they get the experience, if they get the expertise, they will help you build your organization. In my property business, I run a property business, the land development I've been talking of. So what I usually do, we are selling stands. But when you are selling stands, do you want to sell stands by employees? Stand? Well, at least they are renting. You know it, the only person who has got a house, well, at least your employees are renting. And the other morning ones, so I made sure that each employee has got a residential stand. All the employees who work at the property division, they've got stands. I don't have money to give them, but they've got a stand. A stand that I got at a lower price. Why can't I just give them? They've been working hard. And the other piece of land, I'm not the one who negotiated for it. It was negotiated by one of the employees. So during the COVID period, as you heard as well on my profile, I ran a funeral business. I started it during the COVID period. You know what? If I tell you, you will not believe this. I always tell people that in business, it's not all about money. You don't need money always to start your business. The other business, the land development company that I talked of, there's this deal that I made this other time when I didn't have machinery to develop during that time, but I had a discussion and said to this landowner, but I can develop this piece of land. And he said, do you have the machinery? And I said, yes, I do. I was confident enough to say, yes, I do have the machinery. So, and say, okay, so we are going to give you a chance to develop this piece of land. And that it's okay, please do. Try me. But I didn't have. You know what I did after that meeting? I went to one of the surveyors who we have in Midlands, and I said, you know what, surveyor? I've got this piece of land that I have, but I need your services, but I don't have money. Can you offer me these surveying services, and I will pay you using residential stands? I was referring that piece of land, if it surveys my stands, Buddha, I'm going to give you. And I went to the team, the other company that had machinery. I want you to do roads for me, but I will pay you using residential stands. I got that piece of land. I started business. I started developing, but I didn't have money. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to money to start business. There's need for this collaboration. Building relationships is one of the most important principles of servant leadership. The person next to you, urukumbata say, wamutarizira pasi pamwe ane tsvina because ari kushanda nemeshinari nemagreda yake ari kusuka. But waona zvako Dr. Moreblessing just because vane makeup apa vanakana machinery. So we should all make sure that we build relationships in business. That's one of the most important things. The other principle of servant leadership is listening, being a good listener. I used to believe that if you are a CEO, if you are a leader, people should feel you. You don't have to listen. When I started business, I used to have meetings, sit down in a board meeting or in a general meeting that we will be having with our employees. I was the one who would speak the whole time. Say, I want you to do this, I want you to do this. I never listened to what other people said, toward the contribution from the employees. But I realized this would be my downfall. These are the people who are going out in the market. Not just telling them, I want you to do this. But in the market, you have to be a good listener. So I was saying, I started my business during the COVID period. During that time, as you heard me saying, I had this partnership, they didn't go well. So recently, during the COVID period of time, I was left with just one combi, a pink combi. It was just pink, I didn't have anything. But I wanted to get back into business. I didn't know what to do. I'm happy you talked of Higher Love Foundation, Strive Masiwa. During that period of COVID, I got help with the money. Yes, Strive Masiwa, he was sending money for bundles, for data bundles to my students. And in Nini, dandichichengeta huku during that time. I didn't have money. And tata loke gwamumba tadindine huku. I had huku 500. I started that business with Delsi Wizi. For she had to send me money. She couldn't. And then pasna we saw Maria Strive Masiwa ya pindira one of the students. Wokumba. Thank God. We then had to take that money and buy the feeds. I always pray for him. I always pray for him. That man, he saved my life during the COVID period. I'm telling you. We had to buy 10 kg of mealie meal using that money. So what I did, I had the plan of starting a funeral business, but I didn't have the capital to start the business. You understand there is capital requirement for you if you want to trade, like have policies, trade like these big companies. And there was this lady who was the admin. She hadn't gone to school. And she called me during that period. Ma'am, I heard you want to start a funeral business. But there's this lady who approached me because I wasn't going to work. She was at the reception at the other organization, which I had co-founded. But I heard you wanted to start a funeral business. You were talking of the capital requirement and what the things that we need to. Pane munu mem ihazivi. Pane munu arikutaura izvi, she has got a company in South Africa. Arikutaura, she's got a funeral. There's this model that she's used, and this Zivi, you can just listen to her. You know what I did? I had to get her number, listen to what she was saying. And she introduced me to a model. That lady, though the partnership didn't work, but she left me and introduced me to a model that I used and started the funeral business, which didn't require capital. Some of us, when we see this big organization, we fear. But I believe this big organization, like Old Mutuals, the Big First Mutual, they can help even startup to start even without capital. You don't know. It's just that we don't know. But I got this from the lady who was in South Africa. I had my combi, my pink combi, that I used. I removed the seats during that period. These big companies, they were overwhelmed. People were dying during the COVID period. But I'm not saying it's good, but I saw an opportunity during that period. I then started burying people using that. It was pink during that time, and I said, this is the name of the organization. My dad, we had formed a company. I told you earlier, my dad worked 40 years in the security industry as a security guard. He was just a mayor security. So when he retired, I said to him, Dad, what are you going to do with this 40 years experience? As I said earlier on, you become a leader by saving others. He served in the security industry for 40 years. And I said to him, after retiring, what are we going to do with these 40 years of experience in the security industry? Let's start a company. Let's start a security company. And you'll be there leading as the managing director there. And we started a security company. And it was Relievers Security. So we were working on the license. During that time, to start on a license. So I was thinking of a name to name the funeral business that I wanted to start during the COVID period. This license, Young Saturday, was still processing the license. And I said, no, we have got a company. I'd given them other names, and I don't know so. What? And then I then said, they were saying, no, you give us the name, we need to register. And then I said, no, we have got a security company which we had named the Relievers. Let me just name Relievers Funeral Services. That's when we started during the COVID. We started burying people. You know, the person who gave me strength to start this company was one of my employees. She said, ma'am, we can do it. And I said, can we open our own office? And I said, yes, I got the office at this post office building. He told me, ma'am, let's go. And I saw him this 4th January. It was 2021. He had opened doors even when I was home, saying, ma'am, we can do it. We can run this organization. Just one of my employees, the person that I'm leading. We started with the combi, and then as time went on, we painted the combi, started burying people during the COVID period. That's when I saw an opportunity. Started burying people, then the business grew. People started knowing about us because we were having burials each and every day. And people started knowing about us. And we then eventually got a piece, like a building that we had to have our parlor. And the other registration for us to be able to collect premiums from people. Yakazoita after, but while we had started. But all this was from one of the employees that I had in my organization. So it doesn't necessarily need to be you. But if you work together with your team members, you will be able to go far. So I don't want to take much of your time. I wanted to talk about these 3 elements that I just picked. But I wanted to share them with you, giving you practical examples of my own journey. I talked of listening. I talked of collaborations and building relationships, involving your team members in decision making, empowering your employees to be able to make decisions on their own. I was only given 30 minutes, so I don't want to continue talking, but this is what I wanted to share with you. Thank you so much. Thank you.